love sweet God Manga. Lobster's a 10 on you, don't you grab it.
This video is brought to you by T-Blocks. Enjoy the content now, but stay for the shilling later. Welcome to Lobster Magnet and Friends. I'm here with my buddy Goro.
Yep, that's me. Hi.
And we are here to talk about our favorite ongoing manga series, Dr. Stone. So, I was very surprised with this. I was pleasantly surprised that we got a definitive end to the tournament arc in this chapter. I was afraid things were going to be kind of like dragged out, and then eventually it would be Seku versus Magma. But, things ended in the most Dr. Stone-y way possible.
Yeah. It did feel very battle manga-esque, but it had a Dr. Stone kind of aura around it.
Well, we had the great scene where Dr. Stone does all of his calculations of how long he needs to set the clothes on fire, and we get all that complex math crap, which was fun.
Yep. Well, check it out. I got concave glasses.
Concave glasses. I love the thing where it's like, you can't use concave glasses, but he used his own sweat to create a little pool. Yes.
See, I'll just do the same thing Chrome did.
Now you can defeat Magma with your glasses. I like that. I like the reintroduction of Asagari again, and I thought his whole thing was like, woof, I cast a spell on you, your heart will explode.
Yeah, that was a great way to reintroduce him again. After for such a long time. Well, not that long a time, but that was a perfect way to just kind of help seal the deal for that fight, I think. Yeah,
it was a nice little way, and I did like the idea where it's like, I'm taking advantage of Magma's laziness that, if he, he wants any excuse not to move and take a break for 60 seconds, he's going to take it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I like how he explains the psychology of how he's able to do what he's doing with his mentalist tricks,
Yeah, I did enjoy that. That also felt like a Dr. Stoney touch to something that would at first kind of appear to be stupid, where it's like, I can only hold this magic for 60 seconds, and he's like, oh, I'm going to beat the crap out of you. But it gives Chrome the science power he needs to burn Magma, and then, of course, get him a hit in the nuts. Gotta have, that little immature Shonen Jump humor. But what I get?
It's like, if it was if it wasn't explained at all, it'd be pretty dumb, right? If it was oh, I'm going to hold you with a spell for 60 seconds, and, Magma believes it all of a sudden. But since it's explained to us, through, all that logical reasoning of, how, analyzed Magma, it just, it feels more believable. It feels more fantastically believable, I guess, and fun.
Yeah, it was a really nice way to resolve this, because I thought for sure that Magma would put out the fire, and then we'd have to see Magma versus Seku, and Seku would have to beat him as as a more traditional battle manga setup where the main character fights off against the strongest guy.
Oh, and then, God! And Seku pulls out invention after invention or something. I don't know how he would fight.
Yeah,
but
I don't know how it would work. I mean, that would have been interesting, but I'm glad that it resolved this way, because, obviously this isn't, what Dr. Stone is at the best, and it ended it in the most Dr. Stone-y way possible. And I thought it was definitely stronger than last week's chapter.
Last week's chapter, Chrome just, he got his ass beat, right?
Yeah, he gets his ass beat, and then he, pulls up the mask, and then he's like, I'm going to light it on fire.
Yeah.
And then you're kind of that feels kind of bullshitty, because Seku says, you can't, it doesn't work like that. Those lenses aren't good for lighting fires. How is he going to, stand there and get enough time to light him on fire? But this week we got, three, sciencey things. We got the equations for how long it would take. We got the Seku, mind trick, and we got the Chrome putting the water on the glass through his own sweat, which was a really nice touch. So versus last week where it was just oh, he's going to use the power of science and light it on fire.
Yeah.
Which to me felt kind of, of course, kind of lame. I was not happy with that idea.
It's kind of funny, Chrome is don't worry, Magma, I'm going to help you. While his whole body's on fire, and he does the finishing shot he's been practicing for so long.
I also liked when Chrome gets an idea that like it's the little light bulb that like Seku made.
Oh.
That was.
Oh,
Another,
I didn't even understand that
yeah.
panel at first. I was just like, huh? What is it? What is he?
Well,
What is that
I didn't
panel
get it at first,
about?
but then I looked at it a little closer and I was like, oh, that's so cute. He gets an idea and then he's got like the little light thing that like, because he doesn't know what a light bulb looks like. That's his idea of version of light, just how like Suika's was a torch with fire.
Yeah. Okay, now that makes so much more sense. All right. I was just like really confused by that part. It was just like, huh? I was like thinking it over again. It was just like, huh. Okay, I'll just continue reading. But yeah, that's kind of cute if that's what he meant by that.
Yeah, it was a nice little touch added to yet another strong chapter of Dr. Stone. So yeah, I don't have a, like. This obviously isn't my favorite chapter. I don't know. What in the rating spectrum would you say this is?
I don't know. It's still enjoyable. It wasn't the strongest chapter for sure. Like even though it was like the finale of like beating Magma and stuff, which we all knew was coming eventually.
Well, here's the thing. Like I thought this was a really strong chapter, but for me personally, it didn't feel like a 9. Like I think I was like an 8.5 because it was definitely like I think the strongest chapter of like this whole tournament arc little thing here.
You think? I think the part where Suika passes the helmet was the strongest part.
Oh yeah, that was really good. That was really good. I don't know. I guess these are both neck to neck, but like I thought as a chapter of manga, when we get to discussing One Piece this week, I thought that was a really good chapter of manga, but I still personally wasn't very affected by it, just because like. I don't give a crap about Pound, but I could still like, acknowledge that it was a well done piece of storytelling on Oda's part.
Yeah,
and this like feel like a great piece of Boichi storytelling, but it didn't quite like it was still really good though. It was still really good. It was like running on almost all cylinders, but it didn't quite have that like extra element of like stuff that really gets me excited. But it had enough like I enjoyed Asagari Gen's reintroduction. I enjoyed all the extra science stuff because we need more science stuff. That's what like keeps the series going.
Yeah, it's true.
And I like the resolve, but it wasn't like I think the peak that we've seen in this series.
Definitely not. But it's just like we need to wrap up this tournament arc at some point, and this is like a fine way to do it and move on to more exciting things.
Yeah, true. Well, here's the question though: do you think next chapter we're gonna basically see like Seku like just like forfeit the fight so Chrome can win, or he'll go in like his evil version was like I'm gonna get full control over the kingdom of science?
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know. It probably. I mean, I imagine Senku does have, somewhat of a soft spot, when it comes to Chrome's feelings about Ruri and stuff.
And it feels like he's not that sadistic, even though he's like treated as like this little edgy evil character, like coo. God, I want to hear Seku voice again. The village will be mine. Even though like he's portrayed that, it doesn't seem like that's mostly done for gags. Like I don't see him like fighting Chrome when Chrome's like had his ass beaten down and he's like all bloodied and bruised.
Yeah,
that to me would seem like it would cross the line of like from like playful mean, but in a nice way to like actually mean.
Maybe, but if like Senku explains his reasonings, like okay, I'm starting to think about it now. Like if Senku like all of a sudden like flips the switch, it's like if I am the village leader, I'll have full control of like how the village is run, and there'll be nothing to stop my progress, for the kingdom of science. But Chrome, you're slightly in the way.
Well, it begs the question, like, would we get, like, the Dr. Stone version of, like, the Luffy versus Usopp fight?
it be I don't know. It just be. It seems like what if they do like an arithmetic battle again?
What's 100,000 times 25? 9. That would be interesting, but I don't. I like to think that this is the tournament arc is over. That we can like just move on. We'll get like 1 or 2 pages, and then we can move on to like, Seku making the cure all, and then we can see if it works on Riri, and then we can learn more stuff.
Yeah, that's what I hope will happen too.
That's what it feels like should be the natural progression of things. But what's your rating though? For me, this is definitely an 8.5.
I'd say this is an 8 chapter. And I don't know if I would say 8.5. I felt like, it's just pretty. It's pretty nice to have like Gen show up, but like I don't know. It didn't have as much of an emotional impact on me, like seeing Chrome like, work up such a crazy way to like make the lenses like convex or concave or whatever, to start the fire, and then having to keep the water perfectly still too, like, that was a little bit of. I mean, this is like a little bit absurd. I think, like even in Doctor,
I still bought it.
Like, I think maybe something that might have sold me a little bit better is like, what if Magma like smashed the mask completely, and like that would actually make it even more of a struggle to like set his clothes on fire, because why would he let Chrome like make that kind of stance and like not even do anything to him for like so long?
Well, you got that. You got the thing, the Asagari again. That was the whole justification.
Yeah, but even before that, he was just like, "What are you doing? Or why are you standing there?"
You think he should have just like smashed him?
Yeah, and then he should have smashed the whole setup that he had, and then Asagari again comes to save him and has to make him still, and then Chrome like takes the actual lens in his hand, and with like, I don't know, some other water source, like he has it filled up again, and then he's lighting it. I think that would have been a good way to.
I don't know. I think it worked out pretty well in its favor, considering like, I don't know. I thought the last chapter was kind of weaker, and I felt this was like definitely Dr. Stoney. I still think it was like a really solid piece of it mostly, it was a little bullshitty, but it was I mostly bought it. It sold me.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I guess that's the only thing that kind of bothered me about that fight. But, Dr. Stone, pretty solid.
Yeah, pretty solid for like something, even though like, a tournament fight is like the last thing we should be seeing in Dr. Stone.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a good solid piece of manga storytelling. Good end of this little tournament arc.
Let's just say I'm looking forward to the next chapter too.
Yeah. Just as like I'm excited. Dr. Stone's still pretty much on a roll. Well, would you say this tournament arc kind of like brought the series down, or do you think like it's still like riding high?
I think that all depends on how they transition from this chapter. I'm not sure yet. It's still up in the air.
You think it could still be like going on and it's not over yet?
It's possible. Like there could be like the battle between Senku and Chrome, that they could extend that, to a little bit too slow a pace. I mean, they shouldn't extend the Chrome versus Senku fight, I don't think, at all. Like, they should just be done with this tournament arc by now and like move on to like, the secrets behind like what Ruri sent to Senku, and like getting the antibiotics to Ruri, and then figuring out how to build a kingdom of science. Now that
true.
Like,
those are all the things that we want to see. Those are the things that we demand from Dr. Stone, and hopefully we'll see them.
Yeah, exactly.
I think there's a good chance. I think there's a very good chance that that's what's going to happen next.
And then like Chrome like and formally like include Senku into the village because he's the head chief, and things like that. That's what I want to see for the next chapter.
True. Some nice payoff, like the Kingdom of Science. Yeah, and then like what can Seku do once he has the full village's support?
Yeah, basically.
Because building ramen and making like a light bulb that can only work like for like 2 seconds a day after like powering up a generator, so far isn't quite like bringing civilization back.
Yeah.
Although the chemistry lab's like a pretty good setup, and getting glass, I guess that like is a pretty big technological innovation.
Yeah, that's true. You can mix up all kinds of crazy chemicals with that.
Yeah, so that's a step all. But I'm also really curious to see how he makes cola.
Yeah, that's it shouldn't be any more complicated than antibiotics, though. Like that's like...
Antibiotics is a little bit of a steeper pill than. Well, I'm curious. I have no idea how you make cola in the frickin' Stone Age. So I'm very curious to see it. But yeah, overall, good. Another good chapter of Dr. Stone. Dr. Stone's still moving strong, and we're, for better and mostly better, we're out of this tournament arc, and it didn't kill the series, and it still remained suitably Dr. Stoney.
Yeah, I say so.
Yeah.
So, I'm looking forward. Next chapter. Need it.
So, all you Dr. Stoners out there, fear not. Dr. Stone is still riding high.
Yeah.
Alright, so remember, unlike Dr. Stone, you don't have to make your own clothing. You can get it with T-Blocks, which gives you a new t-shirt once a month for a year.
And probably less flammable, too.
Yeah, much less flammable than Magma's, because it's made with modern technology. So don't lose in the fire tournament because you're wearing like a terrible linen cloth thing. Use the power of T-Blocks to shield your body. And remember, Lobster's antennas, but don't you grab it.
Yep.
Do you like clothes but hate shopping? Then T-Blocks is the subscription service for you. But I know what you're thinking. But Lobster, how is that any different than Loot Crate or the other subscription services? Well, T-Blocks sends you t-shirts, which is clothing, which is actually useful, unlike the useless swag junk that Loot Crate keeps peddling on gullible schmucks. And this isn't just knockoff brand crap. T-Blocks hooks you up with licensed shirts for all the stuff you love, because you need clothes. How else are you going to keep your puny human man flesh protected from the elements? T-shirts are useful for any occasion. Wear them, give them to friends, give them to enemies, knit them together, make a quilt. T-shirts are life. And you know the best part? It'll only cost you $6.99. That's right, you can get 12 shirts sent to you for once a month for only $6.99. And you know what? If ultra cheap licensed goods are too basic for you, then there's also the Community T-Block set, which features original designs from the best up-and-coming artists, so you can keep that hipster street cred. But I'm here to save you even more money! Use the code LOBSTERTBX at checkout, and you'll save 10% on any order. Be a t-shirt wearing god amongst mortals. Use the power of the most expensive seafood to get you the cheapest t-shirts now!